McGowan's Journal, November 4th, 1994. It's been a full week since Yowler disappeared. I don't know where he's gone. The Beast and I, well, we had an argument, and I couldn't understand what he was saying. It's just jarbled, it was just a jarbled mess. All I could hear was... I couldn't understand the Beast. So, he's gone now. I hope he comes back soon. Oh, my dinner's getting cold. Scotland! Dragonworld, or Drachenwelt, as it's known in German, is a direct-to-video movie released in 1994. And yes, this is the official poster for the movie you're looking at. And yes, I'm just as horrified as you are right now. The only way I managed to find this film, like any other obscure dragon movie such as Pixie Dragons, is through good old IMDb. And after getting a glimpse of the trailer, you can already tell it's a product of its time. But how does it hold up as a film? Is it an underrated 90s gem that's been overlooked? Or is it a cliched family movie that doesn't exactly leave the strongest impression? Well, as Mr. Peanut Butter would say,
let's find out.
Our story begins with a young John McGowan who's been sent to Scotland all the way from America after both his parents were tragically killed in a car accident. Only his grandfather hasn't quite shown up to the station yet, and John has no idea what he looks like, and the lady accompanying him doesn't know either. So the lady goes to ask the train conductor, who says, "Don't worry mate, you'll know Angus McGowan when you see him."
He'll be here right as rain. You'll know him when you see him.
No, they won't. Why are you saying this? It's clear by the way you're speaking about him that you know him, or at least have heard about him, so why not give a brief description? Oh, Angus McGowan, you say? Oh, he's an elder gentleman with beady eyes, grey hair and sideburns. Looks like your typical farmer type. You know, something like that. And it's not like the whole "you'll know him when you see him" thing is building up to reveal that he's some kind of eccentric weirdo who dresses like a clown or something. When we see him later, he's just an ordinary farmer type, so why are you saying this? Well, you guys probably already know why they're being purposely vague about his appearance, right? Yep, it's all in service of the dramatic reveal. Ooh. So the lady goes off to find a station master, and the train leaves the station to reveal Angus McGowan through the smoke.
Yeah, baby!
There he is!
John and Angus then embrace each other. It's all wholesome as the soft music plays in the background, but then we just cut to them both in a car on their way to the McGowan castle. And is it just me, or does it feel like there's a scene missing here? Like, did they just leave the station without letting the lady know? Did the lady just walk out to notice that John is now gone and he might have been kidnapped? Oh well, maybe it's all in the extended cut or something, I don't know. So on the car ride to the McGowan castle, John notices his grandfather has a bottle of whiskey, which prompts him into mentioning that the person who crashed into his parents' car was drunk at the time. And then this leads into a nice little character moment where Angus straight up gets rid of the bottle, albeit in a very irresponsible fashion. Like, whiskey is kind of an expensive beverage, man. Like, wouldn't it be better to simply return it to a store and get your money back? Not to mention, this is blatant littering of the countryside. Oh well, sod it. Scotland forever! Not to skip too far ahead, but as we see later on in the film, we never see him drinking after this moment with John. So yeah, that's actually a really good detail. Well done, Dragonworld. Because it's all downhill from here. At the McGowan castle, we get introduced to Mrs. Cosgrove, who's the maid of the castle, and we also learn things about Angus's crippling tax bills. So yeah, keep that in mind because it's the core reason for the entire conflict of the movie. Also, I've neglected to mention it so far because this dinner conversation here is a pretty fine example. But this kid can barely speak.
You guys ever eat like pizza or hamburgers? Hamburgers?
What the hell is a hamburger? And I mean no offense or anything, but Cortland Mead is giving Jake Lloyd as young Anakin Skywalker a run for his money here.
Are you an angel? Yowler? Is that your name? I'm a person and my name is Anakin.
Wow.
So after John gets put to work looking after the sheep, Angus gives him a set of bagpipes, which he has to keep on him at all times apparently. Oh no, I wonder if this movie made people think that everyone in Scotland gets a mandatory set of bagpipes? Okay, so I just googled this out of interest, and one of the questions that comes up instead is, are bagpipes a war crime? What? Anyway, Angus then tells John about this magical wishing tree. Yep, that's right. A magical wishing tree. And if his wish is good, the fairies will make it come true? So as Angus leaves, John wishes for a friend. Wait, okay, stop. We've now tread into wishing tropes territory, which means we have to ask a bunch of questions. So, how many wishes do you get? Can you wish for more wishes? Are you limited to one wish? What exactly does if your wish is good mean? Good as in morally good, or good as in it's a good wish to you? If so, what is a bad wish? Like wishing for the destruction of the planet? Why is this tree so ambiguous? How did this tree get here? Who found out that it was a wish tree? How did they figure out how the wish tree works? How does Angus know of it? How did he find out? But most importantly, will any of these questions be answered by the film? No. Anywho, I'm guessing you already know who John's friend is gonna be, right? Well, after wandering off into the forest for some reason, John starts playing the bagpipes in the most hilarious way imaginable. His, satanic dancing then causes smoke to rise from this cave-looking area, and after seeing a silhouette of a garbling creature, John chases it through the forest until...
Disgusting!
Why? Why this? It's horrifying! Not necessarily because this is someone's, unique vision of what a dragon would look like, but the fact that it's clearly a puppet that looks more like a walking raw chicken is just... Ugh. There's a couple more reasons why the effects in this film look more like a horror movie rather than a family-friendly, wholesome film, but we'll come back to that. Right now, we need to take a look at what I believe to be either a directing error or some kind of editing mistake. You see, once John aggressively rugby tackles the gremlin chicken to the ground, which apparently makes them friends now, we get a shot of Angus doing some gardening. He then drops his tools as he looks over, and we get a shot of John and the bog-eyed demon from hell looking upward, as if to imply they're now stood in front of Angus. But then we go back to Angus, who's now running over to where John and the roasted potato are stood. So what the heck were they looking up at before Angus ran over? And you want to know something else that supports how weird this all is? There's footstep Foley in the shot before Angus runs over. Wait, so I guess it's probably both, right? It's a directing error because John and the radioactive thing should be looking to their left instead of up, and it's also an editing error because if you really wanted this shot of both of them here before Angus runs over, then why not just cut out the footstep Foley? Ugh. Anyway, let's get back to the plot, which is... yes, giving Mrs. Cosgrove a heart attack.
Look what I found!
Look, movie, you can play all the happy music you want. This is still terrifying, okay?
I shall feast upon the bones of your livestock.
Anyway, after some good old-fashioned animal abuse, John asks where this thing came from, and Angus tells us of an ancient legend which may be connected to Yowler, which goes as follows. Once there was a McGowan knight who killed a
My ears deceive me!
But then the knight found the dragon's baby and decided to keep it for himself, only for a bunch of elves to come and steal it overnight and take it back to the Elven Kingdom? By the way, we never get to see any of these elves and fairies that are mentioned in these legends. They're just kind of thrown in there to explain how Yowler got here, which, sure, it doesn't really matter as long as the rest of the story is good. Spoilers, it's not. But you didn't have to go with this. You could have had anything, really. Maybe John could meet Yowler after he comes through a portal from the Fairy Kingdom. That way you could explore it more in a sequel. No? Instead, we're just gonna go with magical bullshit tree? Okay, so they decide they're gonna keep the insert funny joke here, and John names him Yowler, which is not the worst name in the world. Honestly, when it comes to names, it's all subjective to a certain extent. It's funny because when artists try to come up with names for their OCs, they struggle with finding ones that sound good and fit the character and worry if they sound stupid to others. I know this because I've done it myself. People might find Yowler to be a weird name, but you know what? every name in existence is weird, and will sound stupid to some people. Heck, I can guarantee you there's some people out there that think Spyro is a dumb name. But we all know they're wrong, right? Anyway, we're getting off topic. So now it's 15 years later, and John's grandfather has sadly passed away, and John is all grown up, which can only mean that Yowler has also,
Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Okay, so let's lay out the groundwork for this chonker of a point right here. Alright, firstly, I love stop motion animation as an art form, and it's a shame that you rarely tend to see it in mainstream media nowadays. Last year, I rewatched Wallace and Gromit Curse of the Were-Rabbit with a friend, and it still holds up as an absolute banger of a film today. It was also just really fascinating to see all the little details added in the background, as well as speculating how they managed to pull off what they did, because as unique and great stop motion animation can look, the process of making it is incredibly slow, but the results are a form of animation like no other. But it's also one that can very easily veer into being unintentionally creepy. This of course depends on the person and what they get spooked by, but stop motion animation moves in such a way that I could forgive someone if they were to find it rather unsettling. And there's many examples of this, like the forest demon in the Halloween episode of Smiling Friends, that one part in Who Framed Roger Rabbit when Judge Doom gets flattened, and a lot of music videos by Tool use stop motion animation combined with live action practical effects to create some really surreal stuff. But one that always stuck with me is a particular scene from a movie called Jason and the Argonauts, which was made in 1963. When I was a kid, my dad put this movie on whenever it was airing on TV, and the one scene I'll always remember is when the statue of Talos comes to life and starts attacking everyone. Not only is this thing big and indestructible, it also moves in this really uncanny way that only adds to the terrifying nature of what's happening. And not just the look of this thing too, but the sounds it makes as it's moving around is just, ugh. And that's kind of the thing with this stop motion version of Yowler here. On a technical level, it actually looks decent, and he's not attacking anyone here, which makes it way less scary than Talos, but overall, it just clashes with the other practical effects, and easily falls into the creepier side of stop motion animation, which isn't exactly what you want for a family film. This is further solidified when they use the practical head model for Yowler as he walks over to John, which is easily the best looking Yowler effect in the movie. Look, he's even doing a big old Dirk smile. It actually looks pretty cute. Anyways, back with the plot, a filming crew lands its helicopter just outside of the McGowan Castle, and this is our introduction to the rest of the main cast in this movie. Almost half an hour in, by the way. We have Bob, a director who is here to get footage for a television show in America, his uninterested daughter Beth, and Brownie. He's the helicopter pilot. So while gathering footage, we get this funny, totally hilarious, heart-stopping, laughing all the way to my grave scene where Yowler shows up and spooks them all. Okay, to be fair, Bob's reaction here is actually quite funny. Yeah, it's quite cartoonish, but at least it's a more appropriate reaction than what Beth gives.
A real-life dragon.
You sound about as enthusiastic as seeing some new clothes at the mall. You wanna know how I'd react if I saw a dragon? I'd be like, holy fuck! This would completely change your worldview on what is real or not. It's not a new flavor of Skittles!
I don't work with him. I'm just visiting.
Yeah, we can all see where this is going. We've all seen a movie before. These two are without a doubt definitely going to fuck. So it turns out that Bob's camera has recorded Yowler, and as they're all invited into the castle by John and Mrs. Cosgrove, Bob just casually snoops over to their desk and starts going through all their tax letters. And nobody notices him doing this? Well, gotta get the plot of this movie going somehow, I guess. So, as the film crew leaves, John asks them all to keep to themselves about seeing Yowler.
12 seconds later.
I have here photographic evidence proving the existence of a real live dragon.
Oh, Bob, you're a two-faced little liar there, aren't you? Yeah, we'll talk a little more about him later with what's to come, but here's where we get introduced to our totally not main antagonist of the story, Mr. McIntyre, who is shown the footage of Yowler. And I don't know, man, if I were in his shoes, I'd be very skeptical about some random guy showing up into my office with what's essentially the equivalent of Bigfoot-style footage. A little something along the lines of, "Well, Mr. Armstrong, to me, that actually looks more like a plastic toy model for a bloody student's musical. Now get out of my office, you crazy git." However, as the foreboding musical cue suggests, McIntyre takes this footage as truth.
I'll make you the same offer I made for Nessie.
Wait, hold up. Nessie? As in the Loch Ness Monster? You have the Loch Ness Monster as a family attraction, as implied with your plans for Yowler? Okay. So McIntyre and Bob make a deal to turn Yowler into a family attraction, but first, they plan to bribe him from John because of, yep, you guessed it, those damn tax letters. Which, as it turns out, works very effectively against John, as he just receives a letter saying the castle will be taken away right as the film crew goes to revisit them. Wow, now that's what I call convenience. So John agrees to give up Yowler for a short while, and he also asks Yowler if he's okay with it too, to which Yowler just roars in response. And I know John has been with Yowler for most of his life, but how exactly does he know if Yowler is saying yes or no here? Yeah, because for all we know, this could be a "oh god, please don't parade me around so you can pay off your taxes" type of roar. Wait, hang on. Something's happening. Something boring and cliched. Oh no. Oh god, oh, it's the forced romantic love story between John and Beth. Oh god, quick, skip it, we're losing viewers. Ugh, it's too boring. Ah! And so the contract is signed, but in order to transport Yowler to what will eventually become Dragonworld, hey, that's the title of the movie, they give him a cheese wheel loaded with tranquilizers. Wait, hang on, if they needed to do this in order to get him there, then I guess that roar he gave before really was a "oh god, please don't parade me around so you can pay off your taxes" type of roar. Oh no, what the hell?
It's time to go to heaven, my child.
Stop it, what are you doing?
Stop,
Stop it,
don't
stop it,
fight.
cut it out,
Don't
help.
stop. Come on, Zach, let's go to heaven. Wait.
So now we're finally at the third act of the movie, and I have to say this is by far the most entertaining part of the film, because most of it up till now has just been exposition, people talking in a room, not a whole lot of things happening, well, things of interest anyway. And uh-oh, big evil business guy is parading around the dragon in a prison with a bunch of guards, and John regrets his decision? Wow, who could have possibly seen this coming? But wait, it turns out that John can't take Yowler back at the end of the month because McIntyre can cheekily extend the contract.
You bastard.
You know, as contrived as this all is, that's kind of why it's the most entertaining part of the movie, because after nearly an hour of nothing much happening, we finally have some kind of conflict to be resolved. It's not inherently a bad thing for a movie to have a slow start and then a climactic ending, just as long as the build-up is satisfying. But even this part of the movie isn't safe from mediocre writing, because then okay, I think this is the dumbest scene in the movie. So, McIntyre is going to extend the contract, clearly solidifying him as the guy you're meant to hate, right? Only, after he leaves, John accuses Beth of deceiving him and betraying Yowler, like... what? This makes John look like an idiot here for pointing the finger of blame at Beth, because he should be pointing it at Bob. I don't know if you remember this, John, but Bob is the one who convinced you to share Yowler with the world. He even says that Beth confused him with her city ways. Like, dude, come on. The only upside to this is that Beth calls out Bob after John storms off. Not for anything specifically, she just says, "You're despicable, Bob. I can hardly believe you're my father." Which is better than nothing, I guess. Anyway, so as John gets kicked out of Dragonworld and Beth tells him she wants to help get Yowler back, the guards with spears in Yowler's den manage to piss off Yowler so much that he starts breathing fire. And oh, don't worry, it doesn't set anyone on fire, it just knocks them over. It knocks everyone over. What? Why did you do that? Why did you jump over the ledge? You know what? Who cares? At least there's finally something of interest happening in this movie.
Yowler!
This is something we'll come back to later, but ooh, this guy isn't great at screaming. But now it's time to go back to more talking in a room. Yes! Yes! I love talking in a room! I love it! I love seeing people talk and talk and talk and talk and do nothing! I love it! So they all go to confront McIntyre in his office. How, you ask? By putting this big, clunky, totally not at all small camera on his desk and filming him admitting to changing the contract without discussing it. But then, this backfires because neither John, nor Beth, nor Bob read the contract? So, Bob just punches McIntyre in the face and ties him up using telephone wiring. Okay, so, why didn't McIntyre notice the big-ass heavy camera on his desk and then start blabbing on about his intentions? Why did none of the three read the contract? You idiots put McIntyre in the right! Yes, he's evil and you're supposed to hate him, but if you didn't read the contract, it's like he can do whatever he wants! This is why you hire a lawyer to look through these things first, to make sure you're not getting screwed over. But then I guess we wouldn't have a movie now, would we? Well, here we are, the end of the movie. It's time to break Yowler out of Dragonworld. Woo! Okay, so they all managed to sneak past this singular guard into the ground floor where Yowler is because the guard was asleep. Sure, why not? Then Bob triggers the alarm system because he kicks the control panel, and then McIntyre shows up with a bunch of guards? What? But Bob tied him up! So how the hell did he get out? Oh, and despite already establishing that all these guards have tranquilizer guns that can easily just shoot Yowler and put him back to sleep, John and Beth get onto Yowler and oh my god! What is that? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was playing Dragonworld for the PS2. Oh my god, there's so much wrong here. Firstly, this looks god-awful. Remember when I was telling you about that one other form of animation? Well, yep, here it is, and it totally doesn't clash horribly with all the other practical, like the head model and the stop motion. Oh my god, look at John and Beth. Wait, they're flying into the moon now? What? And secondly, why doesn't McIntyre just order his men to shoot at them? So what if Yowler intimidated them? They could have easily brought him back down. I know that might sound crazy coming from me, the dragon simp, but I will not compromise my standards for illogical decisions in this story. McIntyre wants Yowler. He has the power to keep him here. He doesn't use it. It makes no sense. Oh, and one more thing, last but certainly not least, Yowler can fly now? Oh, they fly now! Shut your fucking snooge, you're a bad movie. Okay, the fire I can get, because I'll give the movie this. Yowler has lived a peaceful life with John and has very likely never been angered in his whole life. So, logically, it would make sense that him getting pissed off with the spear dudes would evoke a reaction strong enough to unlock his fire breathing. That's totally fine. But flying? With zero experience and right now when the plot demands it? Yeah, no. This is absolutely contrived so they can have a cool flying scene at the end of their movie. It makes absolutely no sense at all. So they fly back to the McGowan Castle with McIntyre following close behind because, of course, I mean, where else would they go, right?
Yowler! Look at ye!
But this means that John now has to make a tough decision. In order to keep Yowler safe from McIntyre, he has to send Yowler back to where he came from. Yeah, remember the Fairy Kingdom, or whatever it was called? This leads to a very serious and emotional scene, where John has to tell Yowler to go, and it's absolutely hilarious.
Don't you understand, Yowler? I don't want you anymore!
That's right! Fuck off! You fucking fuck! Fuck off!
Fuck off!
Yeah, like I was saying before, this guy can't really scream or shout all that well, and yeah, like, it's hard to explain, but when you hear someone shout, you can just kind of tell if it's good or not.
I don't want you anymore! So go on!
So yeah, Yowler leaves, McIntyre gets arrested, and John goes to the bullshit wishing tree and wishes for Yowler to come back. Only for years to go by, and then he comes back? Okay, sure, why not? A happy ending is a happy ending, I guess.
Fly, you fools!
McGowan's Journal, July 21st, 1994. I've somehow managed to travel back in time so my dinner doesn't get cold. Only now there's a new problem. My dinner's not even ready yet. Alright then, so, what else could I say about Dragonworld that hasn't been said already? Actually, better question, what did I even like about this movie? Well, I like the main theme of the score. It's a little bit overused, but it sounds very cozy and warm. I like that it's set in Scotland because I actually really love the Scottish accent. And yeah, that's about it really. Aside from a few unintentionally hilarious moments, this movie just doesn't offer much of anything in terms of entertainment value, or for me at least, any cool new insights on dragons. Yowler's existence is based in magical bullshit wishing tree fairyland crap, and on top of that, he's a very unappealing dragon, so the main reason I'd even consider watching a film like this is completely out the window, so what about the rest of it? Well, the story is mediocre. It's a yawn fest of people talking business in rooms until we reach the third act, where, yeah, it gets a little more interesting, but that's only because of the unintentional atrociousness on display. The characters stand out way more negatively than positively, making dumb, illogical decisions, or just not being aware of what's in their surroundings. Now where have I heard that before? So yeah, would I recommend it? No. Absolutely not. It's a waste of time, in all honesty. And it's a damn shame too, because I feel like this premise for a movie could work. It's just incredibly poor on execution. Anyways, I'm Cicaden, please like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel, and be sure to check out all the links in the description for all the socials and stuff, and I'll see you all- wait a minute. Hang on. What is this?
When an evil night returns.
Johnny.
He will stop at nothing to possess the magic of the dragon.
Look out!
What?
Oh my god!
Dragonworld, the legend continues.
Well, it looks different.
Try and boop my snooge. I bet you don't even want to, because it's all wrinkly and made of plastic and shit. I will feast upon your snooges.